Hello everyone, this is Tim, and I decided to get my suit out of the closet that I really don't think I've worn since the had a few funerals a while back, but I don't know, it just seemed like it was fitting, so I'm gonna do it. I want to talk about is Gaming Geeky. Are we geeks? What's the connotation of the word geek? Does it apply? Should we really care? This is a video response to Underwood, and he talks about how he's a fierce advocate. He likes to spread the RPG hobby. He likes to share what he enjoys with other people. And I do too. I think that's probably the reason why I post on RPG forums, where I talk to people. I try to help out other people that have issues. If someone's having a problem with something, I like to help them out. But that kind of goes with real life too. And I want to talk a little bit about like gamer on gamer violence, or whatever term you want to use. How we sort of are self-derogatory, I think, at times, and I'm guilty of this too. But I do this in my own life as well. I kind of like make fun of myself. I think, if you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at? Because I do some really dumb things sometimes, and it just cracks me up. Like, what made me think that would be a good idea? What made me think that I should do that? But I'm like that in general. I tend to laugh off things that other people get, really angry at, or maybe self-conscious about. I don't know. But gamer on gamer violence, it's like, in some ways, I think people have like a tier of geekdom, or whatever you want to, call it, where, okay, well, I'm a role player, but, those LARPers, they're crazy. Or, I play World of Warcraft, but those people that play pen and paper, tabletop RPGs, those guys are just out there, they're outcasts. Or, I play video games, but, you never catch me playing World of Warcraft, Whatever sort of tier you can come up with, I don't know. And it's easy to fall into this, it really is, because I think people just tend to want to be in a certain box, or they want somebody to point at that's, makes them feel better about themselves. Like, well, I'm not that guy, I have a girlfriend, and, I watch, football or whatever. And that's fine. I like watching a good Steelers game. I mean, if you're from Pittsburgh and you don't watch football, I mean, you're going to get beat down. It's just a football town. That's just how it is. But I enjoy, sports as well. I'm kind of not really sure where to take this video. I really could take it in a lot of different directions. And there's things about me that have different sorts of stigma that even in the RPG community I'm a little worried about. So in some respects, it's kind of the same idea, where it's like, what do I share with you guys? How do I open up? What do I talk about? But I got like a little little Word document on the left here. I'm trying to figure out, how to respond to this video, really. Like the bad connotation for gamers. Ander kind of puts this in kind of a rough way, I think. Where RPG players are supposed to be fat, smelly, live in their mom's basement, have never gone on a date before. And that's kind of the stereotype. And sometimes people fit those stereotypes. I mean, that's just part of life. People pick apart the worst part of you and, bring that to the forefront. But they don't really talk about, are these guys nice guys? Do they treat people well? I don't know, are they good friends? If your truck breaks down on the side of the road, if you call these guys, are they going to come help you out? Are they going to come help you put on a spare tire? Or are they going to help you move? I'm the guy with the pickup truck right now, so when people want to move, they call me, and I show up and I help lug furniture downstairs that really should not go downstairs, like those folding bed mattress things, that fit into a couch. But I think I lost myself here. But just the bad connotation for gamers, it's like, if you fit into those stereotypes, maybe try, cleaning yourself up a little bit, maybe, like I've said in a couple of my last videos that, I'm back up to, okay, I'm like 5'9", so I'm not that tall, and I've always been kind of stocky, just a stocky build. I get that from my grandfather. When I lay on my back, my wife lays on her side, and I'm still taller than her. Like I don't know, I got some width here or whatever. I don't know, I got like a big barrel chest, but it's really just like my rib cage. I'm not really that like I'm fairly strong, but I don't know, maybe I have like a 12 strength. If you're using D&D stats. And I grew up not really on a farm, but my father got 13 acres of woods and hills, kind of from a settlement, I guess, for a motorcycle accident. He went out and bought it. And we as kids chopped down trees, dug ditches, filled in around the foundation, and whatever else needed done around the property. And we always did lots of chores, and I was always the oldest one, so I was always the strongest one, so I usually got the harder chores. Hell, we used to go on rock runs as kids, and we used to literally go to this place that said free rocks, and it was like hard labor. I was given like a like a sledgehammer, and we're out there bashing the crap out of rocks and throwing them in the back of my dad's Dodge pickup. So everyone has different experiences with life. They have different upbringings. They they go through different things. And like as Andrew was saying, there's a lot of different people that come to RPGs for different reasons. And honestly, I think we should welcome them all. I don't care what you're like. I don't, maybe if you're a little rough around the nose, maybe check out some Irish Spring or something, or some better smelling shampoo or whatever. Just instead of playing video games till like 3 in the morning, maybe you stay up till midnight and then you get a bath. I had to have a discussion with an employee when I was a manager at UPS, not manager, frontline supervisor, and I used to wear like a tie and just like a blue collar shirt or white collar shirt or whatever, and I'd get dirty as hell every night. And there was basically like 10 employees underneath me. And I didn't really like my job, but I was actually fairly good at it. I was like the kind of like the nice boss, or the boss that wasn't like a complete asshole all the time. And some people took advantage of that, but most people I think appreciated it. But I had one guy who would literally go home, play video games. He was like 18 years old, skinny as a rail. But he'd play video games and then crash at like 6 in the morning. Sleep for like 4 hours, and then he'd come back to work. And loading trucks is not an easy task. You're gonna sweat your ass off. So this guy, after like a week, got pretty rank. So that's an awkward conversation to have with somebody. It's like, yeah, man, nobody likes to work with you because you reek like phys ed. Like just try to clean yourself up. And I actually had to have a few conversations with that guy. And he wasn't even. He was like a video gamer, It just comes down to being lazy or whatever. I don't really mean this to be like a, hygiene video or something, but just take care of yourself. Just if you're gonna be hanging out with people, throw some mouthwash in, brush your teeth, floss your teeth. Make sure you got some deodorant on. Maybe some sort of Axe body spray or something. Just make yourself presentable. This is not how I normally dress, as you guys well know. I'm very much a t-shirt and jeans kind of guy, and that's just how I am. I just, maybe I should care more about my appearance or whatever. Sometimes I don't shave every day, mainly because my face is kind of sensitive, and I'll get my face will get irritated. But whatever, just try to be presentable. I think when you go to game. But does that make you geeky? I don't know. Do RPGs make you geeky? I don't even like that word, really. Geeky with a Y on the end. The term geek, I've kind of spun that on its head, and I've kind of taken pride in that term. It doesn't really bother me. There's other terms out there that, when spoken by a certain section of the populace, is considered like a racial slur, or a horrible put down, but when used by those cultures themselves, it's not that big a deal. It's kind of like it's really not, because you are part of that community. And for me, that's kind of how geek is. I don't really I guess it started out horrible, and I don't know, there's that whole geek kind of chic thing, where it's it's kind of cool to be into certain things like this, but I don't know. I've kind of taken a different connotation on it lately, and I kind of see it as when we're kind of making fun of ourselves. Other people from outside the community are laughing at us in a different way. You know, they're not laughing with us; they're laughing at us. I don't know. That's just something to think about. So there's bad stereotypes for people that play games. I guess it's just a general, word of advice. It's just if you tend to be leaning towards those stereotypes, just try not to. I mean, but at the same time, be yourself. Uh, it's like if you can't be yourself, what's the point? Ander was talking about outcasts and outsiders, and to say that outcasts and outsiders shouldn't play RPGs is kind of being exclusive, I think. Outcasts and outsiders are people too. And if our hobby tends to bring in those people and show them some respect and encouragement and they get enjoyment out of the hobby, I say, more than welcome. Come on in. I don't care. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your political outlook is. I don't care if you're right, left, in the middle, whatever. I really don't care what religion you are, as long as that kind of stuff just doesn't really come out at the table. It's like, we're not having a political discussion. We're just trying to play games. Let's just have fun. If we can't have fun together, okay, then maybe there's an issue we need to talk about. But I really don't care. I don't care what your skin color is. I don't care where you grew up. As long as we're here to play games and we're civil toward each other, I think it's awesome. I think if we can get more people in, that would be cool too. But if not, it doesn't really bother me because I'm having a good time. And if I'm having a good time, the rest is just kind of extra. If I can bring people in, which I think I have. I brought in some people when we were little kids. I brought in some of the neighbors that never played RPGs before. And, we all kind of learned together, and that's just how it was. And I'd like to give a good outlook on what RPGs are, because obviously I love them. It's a big part of my life. I don't know how many hours I've spent, videotaping me here on YouTube talking about them. So obviously I have passion about it. And I just think just being considerate and, nice to pretty much whoever wants to talk to me is the way to go. I just, the whole golden rule thing, I really try to think about that just in daily life and, even talking about games. Sorry, this is going to be really rambly. What else we got here? Just outcasts and outsiders. In some way, I think I am kind of an outcast, outsider. Maybe that is still sort of that high school-esque thing that's stuck in my head, get kind of jammed in there from all the year of public high school. I don't know. But I was also kind of weird. I'll give you an example. When I invited all my friends to my bachelor party, and I was kind of non-traditional in that too, I went up to the mountains. There's this natural rock water slide, and we just had like a cookout and slid down this water in the mountains, the icy chilled waters. And at the bachelor party itself, I really didn't think about it, and I just invited anyone that would come. Anyone that had association with me, anyone I was cool with. The thing I didn't realize is that because I'm so laid back and I'll hang out with just about anyone, some of my friends hate each other just for whatever difference of opinion they have, the people themselves, personality clashes. It was like World War III when all my friends showed up. So the people that I was cool with, maybe they weren't. So there was actually a fair number of people that just left because they didn't want to hang out with my other friends. So I've taken that same philosophy with gaming, anyone's welcome at my table. Meta Rockwell, Jeremiah did a video about him not really fitting in at certain tables. Like, people didn't really know how to take him. He just comes from like a different background, and why should that matter, really? If we're talking about fantastic things and settings and stuff, why can't we just ignore the rest of it? Why can't we ignore the real world? We should, if anyone's good at that, it should be us. And I really felt bad for Jeremiah in that video he did a while ago about that, where it's like, if he's not enjoying himself, then that group needs to look at themselves or try to figure out a way to incorporate him, or, whatever. If there's some breakdown in communication, maybe talk about that. There's, words that you use that maybe I don't. Maybe just tell me what those words are so I know in the future. Things like that. I don't know, but I was kind of like how would you describe me? That's a good question. Uh, if you want to put labels on me as a kid, I was probably damaged goods. I was into the whole grunge thing for a while. It kind of edged into metal, so I guess there's a little bit of the metalcore kind of thing going on there. Um, there's my faith, Christianity. That affects me and how I interact with people sometimes. And I don't talk a lot about it on this channel because I want this to be my like RPG channel, But that's part of me, and that's just who I am. Politics. I don't like. So there's all these different things that could define me, and I could, if I really wanted to, I could spend a lot of effort on one of these avenues. And for me, I've spent a lot of effort on RPGs. But growing up, I was a little bit of an outcast. I got made fun of for my beliefs or what I thought about things. I was an art student. I was really good at art for a while. I kind of dropped the ball on that because I don't know, I had bad memories because I would draw when I was in a really bad mood, or my family life was horrible and it sucked, and that was my way of coping with it. I think that's why I like RPGs too, because it gets rid of all the noise that's in my head and I can take on a different persona with different problems. So, I didn't really fit in with any one group, really. I kind of bounced around. If I bumped into people in class and we'd just start talking, and I'd make acquaintances, friends with just about anybody, I didn't care. If someone was uncool, I didn't really give a shit. It's like I just took every person on personal merit and the time that I spent with them. And, I'd have people like, well, how can you hang out with that guy? He's terrible. It's like, well, he's been nice to me. He's never treated me bad, so why should I care? But so I had lots of friends from lots of different cliques. I was in track. I played soccer as a kid. I guess those aren't really, the quote-unquote jock sports, but I don't know. I did those. So I'm kind of a weird amalgam of like farm boy, outsider, art guy, metalhead. I don't know. Even trying to describe me, I'm kind of weird. But I have no problem embracing creative people or people that don't fit in boxes, because in some ways I really don't fit in the box. So, I don't know. I got married when I was 20. When I asked for time off at work at the time, my boss is like, What do you need one time off for? I was like, well, I'm getting married. He's like, what are you, Amish? So even then it was kind of like, people really didn't understand where I was coming from. So yeah, so I've been married since I was 20. So obviously I haven't been living in my parents' basement. I don't think I've lived in my parents' place since I was 18. So kind of got out of that that chaotic mess. So what I'm saying is, outsiders are welcome. I don't, if you don't fit it, come on in, because we don't care. Creativity and art. I really like those aspects of RPGs. I've talked about that kind of at length. I've been an artist. I'd like to start drawing, some monster manual monsters that like I've been doing. I want to start doing that again. I just always enjoyed that, and this hobby lets me be creative. Especially if you can't be creative at your job, it's like you should probably have a hobby that basically works those creative muscles in your head and lets you kind of express those sorts of things. And this hobby's great for that. It's definitely a socially constructive activity, like Andrew was saying. I've made a lot of friends. I mean, a lot of friends over the years playing RPGs. And to be honest with you, I kind of consider you guys on YouTube to be pretty close friends of mine. I might not have ever met you before, but we've interacted to such an extent that I think of you guys fondly. You guys are awesome. You guys give me feedback. You all have your own different personalities, different opinions on things, and I think that's great that we just hash ideas back and forth all the time on these videos. All right, so what else are we going to talk about? Definitely brings people together, breaks people out of their shell. I was very shy as a kid. RPGs have kind of cured me of that to some extent, most of the way. And here's a topic. How you waste your free time shouldn't really matter. If you want to watch football games, you want to watch, I don't know, lacrosse on TV, I don't know, you like horse racing, NASCAR, basketball, if you like to garden, there's all kinds of different ways that you can waste your free time. And really, why do we have to be so mean to each other? I understand the idea of trying to make yourself feel better by poking fun at other people, but it sucks for that person that you're making fun of. And that whole like bullying thing, uh, it's always been kind of a big deal. And kids are fucking evil to each other. Let's just put it that way. If you're slightly different as a kid, and especially like a public school, your life can be your life can be fucking miserable. Let's just put it that way. You can dread going to school. Let alone don't worry about learning. It's just surviving. Walking down the hallways from class to class. So I have definitely empathy for people that don't fit in, were born different, look different, whatever. Like I said, I'm kind of like the Statue of Liberty. Bring us your huddled masses. We don't care. Come on in. We'll take care of you. If you're willing to work and you're willing to get along with everyone, come on in. We don't care. And that's how my table is when I'm playing a game. I could care less what you are in real life. As long as you're cordial at the table, and you don't drive me insane. That's awesome. Come down and play. RPGs is a very cheap hobby. Now, you might be thinking, now, hold on, wait a minute. I spend lots of money on RPG books. But if you think about other hobbies, you got to pay, like, subscription fees and, gym fees and, football fees for your equipment and such. Whereas with RPGs, you can buy one book. I don't need that big bookshelf over there. I just do that because I just exceptionally love lots of different ways of doing things. You can buy one book, or you don't even have to buy books at all. You can have your GM buy you a book, and you can have hours and hours of entertainment on the cheap. Sure, you might have to buy some Mountain Dew or something, and get some pizza damage on your character sheet, but it's just like a spring of just all this time spent for free. With your friends. You're not sitting at home. You're not just sitting on your couch watching a movie or whatever you like to do. It's a nice social gathering. You just get all your friends together, and it's really cheap if you compare it to other hobbies. So think about that too. All right, so geeks and D&D. We've all the bad stereotypes. There's lots of stigma. There was stigma from the Christian community, thinking that all the kids are going to go to hell if they play this game. I never really thought that. I have had a little bit of stigma from friends of mine that, what do you mean you play Magic the Gathering? What do you mean you play these other sorts of games? What are all these books on your bookshelf? And, my thing is, I really love Lord of the Rings. That was my gateway drug into RPGs, essentially. And I always tell them, he was a Christian author. It might not be for you, whatever, but it fits in my life. So just leave it at that, whatever. I'm not going to worry about it. Andrew had a lot of good points in there. I'm trying to think, what I could talk about. Bad stereotypes. He was talking about Kurt Weagle's Game Geeks. And really, Kurt Weagle was kind of the inspiration for me doing my channel. As far as I know, he was one of the earliest RPG guys on YouTube. And he was kind of an inspiration to me. He still has higher production values than me. Look at this. I have a webcam, and I have a green wall, and I'm standing in a suit. And this is me, putting on airs or something, you know what I mean? He has, kinds of things going on in the program and, stuff moving around. I think there's a little skeleton, jumping down at the end of it. But he was saying that Game Geeks is kind of self-derogatory, kind of poking fun at ourselves, and, it might turn people away. I guess that's a valid point to make. Like I said, even my earliest videos, I call hey fellow game geeks when I first started, and I think it was probably Andrew that said maybe you shouldn't use the term geek. So I've just been pretty much talking to you guys like you're sitting in the room, and that seems to be working for me pretty well. I don't know. I think Kurt does a pretty good job. Some people think that he focuses too much on Savage Worlds, but hey, it's a free service. He's talking about what he likes. If you don't like it, don't subscribe, I don't really see the point of being negative about something that he cares a lot about and he's sharing with the world. So Kurt, if you're out there and you're watching this, I appreciate your channel. Keep going, and I'm glad that you inspired me to stand in front of my webcam right now and talk about this kind of stuff. RPGs in general. Let's see here. What else does Andrew talk about? So do we want RPGs to be mainstream? Some of us definitely do. I know Andrew does. I don't necessarily think that mainstream is always good. There are some things in life that I think are better left as a small group. It's almost like you contaminate them if you bring too many people in. But that might not necessarily be the case with RPGs. Like in the 80s, RPGs were really popular. In some ways, I think RPGs are definitely a lot less popular these days. I think, I mean, D&D had a cartoon about it. There was lots of books put out. Even the negative sort of mainstream media smear campaign for it, in some ways, was advertising. It's like people heard about it. What's this? The D&D? Are you playing the Dungeons and Dragons? What's going on with that? And in some ways, I think that got the name out there so people know what it is. Granted, it has some negative stereotypes because of it, but still, it was name recognition. So is that good or bad? Probably a little bit of both. So do we want it to be mainstream? I think we'd like to see the RPG hobby expand. I think we'd want to get more people into it. But at the same time, it's like, if it doesn't expand, it's just a bunch of close-knit people that have similar interests or whatever. I don't know. That's fine too. Sometimes it's good if things are small. So, and they were saying about how like wrestling was popular. I never really cared for wrestling at all. Even in the 80s with like Hulk Hogan and stuff, I could care less. Martial arts, never really did that either. Like I said, I did like track and stuff. And I played soccer for a while. But soccer really isn't like the popular sport, at least in America anyway. It's kind of like the redheaded stepchild of American sports. But I had a good time. I really enjoyed it. I was fairly good. I was a good defenseman. Man, I can't talk. And my coach liked me, and I got to play with my cousins and stuff. Actually, the cousin that I got to play with in soccer, he was the same age as me. He died in Iraq, and the last time I wore the suit was to his funeral. So in some ways, I kind of came around there. It's kind of interesting. But so there's lots of different things that people can be a part of, and a lot of people I don't think fit into that stereotype box. And have I gotten flack or stigma for RPGs? Surprisingly, on YouTube, I think I've gotten a few negatives, a few thumbs downs. All of the comments so far have been fairly positive. I don't have like a troll list or anything where people just come on there and smash me for talking about stuff. I posted a few of these videos up my my Facebook account, and some of my non-gamer friends might think of me as a little weird, but I'm trying to break them into the fact that these are the kind of things I like to do. This is the kind of thing I like to do to spend my free time and talk about stuff. I don't know. Just because something's popular doesn't mean you have to jump on board. And I've never really, if I don't like it, I don't like it. I don't feel the pressure to have to like something. If there's a certain edition of a game that everyone's saying, well, you should upgrade. You should go play this game. It's like, well, it's not for me. I'm sorry. I don't like it. You can call me a hater or whatever. I'm not gonna talk about things that I don't enjoy. What's the point? Sometimes I think I wear too much of a mask as it is to kind of hide the fact of who I am. That I don't think I should really do that with my hobby either. What else we got in this list that Andrew was talking about here? Let's see here. So, people getting picked on for RPGs. That's a good topic. I have been picked on a little bit, not too much, but I also didn't spread it around, especially in high school when I used to play. It was mainly just the neighborhood kids that we all knew what we liked to play, and we just played it, and we really didn't talk about it other than that. I really didn't feel the need to like proselytize people to come play, because really, we had our guys, we had our small knit group, we lived in the same neighborhood. We used to come over, and hell, I think it's Saturday and sometimes into Sunday we'd play. I don't know, 16 hours straight, crash for like 4 or 5 hours, get up, play the rest of the day Sunday, and that was pretty cool. Actually, we used to do that with Rollmaster, although we heavily just screwed up the rules and did whatever we wanted to, and most of the house rules were to make it rules light or lighter. Self-confidence. Yeah, I could probably have more of that. Definitely confidence has been something I've been trying to work at. I wasn't always really great at dating, but I think that has more to do with the fact that I was shy, I think, as a kid. And I really think it's like a family trait. A lot of my brother and sister were both pretty shy as kids, too. But I got married at 20, and I think she's gorgeous, my wife. We get along for the most part, even though we have different personalities and different things. Marriage is tough, but we're making it work. So that's awesome. We're gonna be married 12 years here in July. So yeah, when I get to 13, I'll be married longer than my parents, which will be a weird kind of anniversary for me. But I'm kind of looking forward to it. I think we've had our tough times, but it's going good. So I guess right there, I'm married. So I guess that breaks one of the stereotypes. I am a little overweight, not like a lot, but I could definitely lose a little bit of weight. But I'm working on it. So maybe I kind of fit that one. The smelly thing, I make sure I put deodorant on and the whole Axe body spray stuff. I use that stuff from time to time. Brush my teeth, comb my hair. Like I said, shaving is really the only thing that I kind of slack off on most of the time. Let's see here. An example. So at my gas convention, it's called GasCon, last year in November, there was lots of people coming out. It was like the end of a time slot, and it also happened that there was a Steeler game being played at the same time, and there were people watching it down in the lobby. So picture there's an elevator, people coming out of the elevator, down through sort of like the lobby, out to the cars. And these guys are watching the Steeler game. And these two guys, they were like, I don't know, 25, 24. They were hanging out with their girlfriends, watching the Steeler game. They were a little tipsy. They probably had a few beers. And they made it a point to kind of harass everybody that was coming out of the elevator. But in kind of a nice way. So it was kind of derogatory in a different light. Like, so what are you playing there? What kind of games do you like to play? Like, what do you guys do up there all day? I don't really understand. So there was definitely like a tone in his voice, like, and he was like stabbing you with a dagger, but he had a smile on his face at the same time. And there's one of the guys at Gas is from Poland. He came over and he has a job here, I think temporarily. But in Germany, over in Poland, they have a different culture as far as games. Playing games is kind of like a family thing. There's lots more games being played over there than America. And he walked right in. His English isn't real great, and he kind of got sucked into this conversation. Whereas normally I would just kind of walk by and like, okay, dude, whatever. But I came up to him and I kind of killed him with kindness. And honestly, I think the girlfriends of the guys were smirking because I had like intelligent answers for all the questions they would have. He wanted to make us look like idiots, and I made him look like kind of like a tool. so that was kind of fun. And I made sure to take my my international friend with me. It's like, yeah, don't talk to those guys. They're assholes. But again, like, not everybody that watches football is bad. Like I said, I like watching the Steelers too. It just happened that when it comes down to gaming or football, I'm gonna go to my gaming convention. Who are my players? What kind of people sit down at my table? I've had neo-pagans. I've had right-wing wackos. I've had very conservative Christian people. I've had engineers, bankers, hippie chicks, goth chicks, normal chicks. As far as I'm sure, if you're a woman, you're playing games, that's awesome. I love a good, strong female character in movies and such, and in real life, they're pretty cool too. I've had lots of awesome people sit down at my table, and I'm glad for it. But they're from all different types of backgrounds, different types of upbringings. And I think that's cool, that there's something that people can do that, brings them all together. And they can kind of forget those walls that we build to separate ourselves. So I think I've kind of talked about that ad nauseum. I don't want this video to be like freaking an hour long, but we'll see. So I've had lots of different people play over the years, and I figured Lefty wants to come say hi. So, whoever you are, whatever you like to do, as far as I'm concerned, you're welcome to come play, come play our games and come say hi. Are we geeky? Okay. Maybe you think so, but we're people, and I think people outside of high school should just be people. You should give them a chance to be who they are. Okay, she wants to come back. So you should just give people the chance to be who they are, and really you don't have to put labels on everything, find out who they are. You know, don't take what other people say about them. Get personal experience yourself. And if there are people that fit that stereotype, you know, don't judge everyone else that plays those games by those bad stereotypes. Because really, I mean, that's just, it's kind of dumb. I don't know. You know, I think you should take everyone, whatever, you know, for that instance that you bump into them. Just take them at face value, listen to them, find out what they're about, and just get to know them as people, because it's really, that's all we are, you know. What else we got to say here? I want to really thank Andrew for basically just saying nice things about me and other people in the RPG community. I think we have a pretty good thing going here. I really enjoy talking to you guys. As far as I'm concerned, you guys are all my friends. So before this video gets any longer, I think I'm going to cut it here. Hopefully that made some sense. I don't know, maybe you guys like the suit. Alright, I will definitely talk to you guys later. I don't know, have fun. Good luck out there.